What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Never Lucky Fantasy Football. I am Ron, and in this video, we are splitting hairs, man. We're talking about four really good stud wide receivers. We're talking about Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Malik Nabers. We're doing a comparison video. This is the start of a new series where I'm going to be comparing various players that are going around similar ADPs, trying to figure out how we want to rank them, right? So in this video, we're starting at the top. So stay tuned, man. Like and subscribe if you want to catch future videos where we're comparing maybe players that are a little bit more difficult to rank, right? So anyway, I'm happy to have you guys. If you guys want to support my work, if you want to find my dynasty rankings, if you want to join a brand new, brand spanking new Discord channel, which is literally barren, it's just me in there. Head over to my Patreon. You can subscribe for free and get all that stuff. You can also subscribe to one of the paid tiers if you want to support this dream, my work. Put a lot of effort and time into these videos. So let's get into this video, man. We need to start from the top about how different people like to build their dynasty teams, right? So some people like to build around running backs. Some people like to build around quarterbacks, wide receivers. Maybe they want that stud tight end. Now, a lot of experts, a lot of like the big time sharks, they think that you should build around wide receivers, right? It's just typically a safer position, right? There's less chance of brutal season or career-ending injuries. Think about Jonathan Brooks, bro. I have him in so many of my leagues. Dude's got 2 ACL injuries back-to-back, and he's literally toasted. I can't even sell him for like a third-round pick at this point. So wide receiver is the way to go, man. And in this video, let's say you're in a startup draft, and you're trying to figure out who to draft. That's the purpose of this video. Hopefully, it helps you guys by the end of it. Let me know down in the comments if you disagree with any of these players. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into this. And we need to talk about predicting future production. What the fuck does that mean? In other words, how do we determine which dudes are going to produce in the future, right? We try to look at historical performance or historical data. It gives us a little bit of a snapshot. Some of it is predictive, some of it isn't. At the end of the day, it's football. Anything can happen, right? So Ryan J. Heath from Fantasy Points. Fantasy Points, sweet. I don't know if he works there or if he just does a lot of work for them, but he publishes these charts all the time. He's one of the best follows on Twitter. And it's essentially like looking at certain metrics and how predictive they are in the next year, right? Of future production, how sticky they are, how predictive they are. It's like a correlation formula that he creates. And at the top of the list, I highlighted a couple things: yards per route run, targets per route run, and first downs per route run. Now, if anybody has first downs per route run data, fucking hook your boy up, dude. Send me that stuff because I don't have access to that data, man. I'm not trying to pay $200, right, for access to that shit. I don't make any money. Hit that Patreon if you want to help your boy so that I can get access to that data. But in any case, man, those are 3 very indicative metrics to predict future performance. So I gathered that stuff. And first, let's talk about the profiles of Chase, Jefferson, Lamb, and Nabers, and then I'll show you that data, right? We'll compare all 4 of those players. So Jamar Chase, obviously, Triple Crown winner, dude. Number 1 overall wide receiver, 127 catches, 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns. He hits that glorious 20 points per game and half PPR. So he hits that metric, which is like a league winner. And he was 4 points better than the next closest wide receiver. So he just, he absolutely dominated the field. And he also led the NFL in red zone targets, which is actually pretty par for the course if you want to be the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. So the last 6 number 1 overall wide receivers did that same exact thing. They led the NFL in red zone targets. It just, it usually translates to more touchdowns. So Joe Burrow projected to be the leader yet again in 2025 in pass attempts. Yet again, they have a bad defense. They've made no improvements. I don't imagine them making any more improvements. This team offensively is set for the future, dude. Nothing to worry about from Chase in that, in that aspect. Justin Jefferson next profile. Wide receiver 2 in fantasy points per game. This man had Sam Darnold, dude. Sam Darnold, I'm seeing ghosts. Fucking, what did he have? Mono? Like, this dude was out of the league, right? He was essentially a unusable quarterback, a bust, if you will. Kevin O'Connell revives this man. He's probably one of the best head coaches / offensive minds in the NFL. Justin Jefferson is him, dude. Now, did Justin Jefferson make Sam Darnold? Was it a combination of KOC with Sam Darnold, with Justin Jefferson, plus Aaron Jones, just a dynamite offensive system that they had in place? I don't know, but Justin Jefferson has produced regardless of who his QB has been. It was Kirk Cousins for a while, Sam Darnold. Now we get J.J. McCarthy sliding in. He had his most touchdowns in his career last season, actually. That was with Sam Darnold, right? So we assume there's going to be a quarterback upgrade with J.J. McCarthy. Supposedly he's been looking great in camp. And I think he was first in the NFL in end zone targets. So not red zone, but end zone, which is also very valuable, right? So Chase had the red zone. He had the end zone. And that's probably why his touchdowns were the highest of his career, right? So there's slight issues. I mean, not really an issue. When Hawkinson came back last season after injury, we did see his production and volume dip a little bit. So he didn't hit those glorious, massive CeeDee Lamb type numbers when Hawkinson came back. And then, they also still had Addison. They still had Jalen Naylor, who also wasn't peanuts. So one more year of Addison and Hawkinson, UQB, a little bit of uncertainty there. Starting to, paint a little bit of a picture. CeeDee Lamb's the next guy. He plays only 15 games last year in 2024. Loses Dak Prescott, obviously, as well. So before that, he was, first of all, he finishes the wide receiver 8 despite that, right? Even though he didn't play, he missed 3 games essentially, or he missed 2 games. 2.5, I think. I think he got knocked out of the last game. Anyway, I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? 4 receptions in all but 1 game. 3rd straight season with 100 catches. CeeDee Lamb is him, dude. He averaged 15.6 points per game in the 7 games with Prescott. So 15.6 points per game with Prescott. All right, it's not as good as Chase, right? But we have seen them be really good together. Where CeeDee Lamb was a 20-point per game wide receiver with Dak, right? So it could have just been that last year slow start. Now the season that CeeDee Lamb was a wide receiver 1 overall, he also got off to a little bit of a slow start. It was like the first month of the season where he was kind of limping out of the gate, right? And then he had that massive, stretch of games where it was like from week 6 to 17 where he was just amazing, right? Scoring like 30 fantasy points in some games, just explosion games. So that's the situation. We also now add George Pickens to the mix. That caps his ceiling a little bit, I think. I think CeeDee Lamb's massive, crazy volume is a little bit capped because of that. Now, I still think he's definitely going to get his, don't get me wrong. But Dak Prescott's, he's coming off of a hamstring injury. He's 31. So that's the profile for CeeDee Lamb. A little bit of an older, quarterback. He's a bit older. He's about 26 years old. So that's CeeDee Lamb. Malik Nabers next. Historic rookie season, bro. Explodes out of LSU. We knew he was hyper talented. I think we should have seen this, dude. We should all eat a bag of shit on this one. But Nabers should have been the wide receiver 1 in this class. He was just so much more talented than Marvin Harrison. It's just Marvin Harrison had hype, dude. He had the name, the hype, the body composition, the body type to be like an alpha, possession wide receiver. Nabers a little bit more undersized, more of a shifty, agile type wide receiver. But we should have saw this coming, dude. Malik Nabers is absolutely him. He sets the rookie reception record, gets 109 catches in only 15 games, keep in mind. And 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. He led all wide receivers in target shares, so 32% target share. That's all wide receivers, not just rookies. And he had 11.1 targets per game, so just an insane volume. He had a horrible quarterback, which is going to be improved. Let's be honest, dude. I mean, Russell Wilson over everyone that Malik Nabers had. Plus, you have Jameis Winston just in case shit hits the fan. Then you have the project in Jackson Dart behind both of them, right? So that, I think, from a dynasty perspective, a pretty rosy outlook for both of them, right? So let's have a look at those metrics that I discussed. So I have this chart here where I essentially just gathered some of the more relevant stats about each player. So we see that in the age column, Jamar Chase, obviously not the youngest, but the second youngest. So he's 24. He's played already 4 seasons, 62 games played. So he did miss a couple of games within there. Like I think he's missed about 12 games combined over the first 4 seasons, leading this group in points per game. So 19.6 points per game, 87.5 yards per game, not better than Jefferson. Jefferson does have him beat in that category. But where Jamar Chase kind of separates from the pack is in the touchdown department. He's a clear 3.5 touchdowns more than the next, which is Justin Jefferson. He's just an absolute touchdown monster, dude. Everybody is pretty on par in terms of receptions per game, targets per game, even like the targets per route run. Okay, Nabers and Lamb are better than the other guys, but for the most part, they're all within that elite category, in my opinion. Yards per route run, same thing, Justin Jefferson, elite. Now, what's the takeaway from this, right? The takeaway is that you can kind of create a narrative however you want to spin it. You can be like, oh, well, points per game is Chase. Okay, but targets per out run, which is also very predictive, is actually fucking Nabers and CeeDee Lamb. So you can sort this chart in so many different ways and create a narrative that you want to create. But I'm going to create a narrative that I want to create, right? That's why this is my advice, right? Now, you can take this or you can leave it. It's up to you. But in my opinion, the factors that I like in a dynasty wide receiver are in this order, right? It's talent, number one. Age, number two. Age matters in dynasty fantasy football. I know, a guy like CeeDee Lamb who's 26 can still produce, but at the end of the day, age matters a lot because you're guaranteeing a lot more production for a lot more years, and you're guaranteeing that this player will actually ascend in value, will actually increase in value over the next couple seasons. While CeeDee Lamb might start declining soon, right? So that's another thing you need to factor in with dynasty. Quarterback and offensive situation is another one. Very important. What's the quarterback? What's the offensive situation? Is it a team that really just likes to run the ball like an Arthur Smith type system? And then the fourth thing is opportunity. So are they going to get a lot of volume? Are they going to get, high value targets? Are they going to get, red zone targets? All that kind of stuff. And with that, we can now start to create a picture of these four players. So Jamar Chase, clear 101. I think we can rank him at the 101. He's ranked that way based on ECR, based on the experts. He hits on all four of those metrics, right? So he's hyper talented. He's only 24. He's got Joe Burrow plus a highly projected pass attempt team, right? Like they're projected to be the number one passing team again this season. And I don't think that's going to change, man. I think their bad defense and the fact that they're in a tough division will mean they're going to be scratching and clawing to get into the playoffs every season with a bad defense, and they're going to have to lean on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Higgins, right? So he gets that massive volume. He gets the red zone stuff. He's just him, dude. We don't need to talk about him too much. Justin Jefferson is the next. He also hits on 3 out of 4 of those. Talent, age, right? He's still only, what did I say, 24? He's 25. So Jefferson hits on 3 out of 4. Offensive situation is definitely good with Kevin O.C., as I mentioned. Maybe the quarterback situation is a little bit murky at the moment, but all signs are pointing up for J.J. McCarthy. So his opportunity is about the same, right? Although you could say that he's got more mouths to contend with or more mouths to feed over in Minnesota, but I think it's about the same, right? I think Addison, Hawkinson, Naylor is like a T. Higgins, and the auxiliary pieces like Chase Brown and Gesicki they're gonna get their targets as well. So I would say that they're about even in that respect. Then we have, in my opinion, third guy on this list is Malik Nabers. He also hits on 3 out of 4. Now, talent, I will give him the edge in talent over CeeDee Lamb. That might sound like blasphemy to some people. Let me know in the comments, dude. I will go back and forth with you. I don't give a fuck. He is hyper talented, dude. Put on some Malik Nabers tape. I just think there's more he can do than Lamb. Now, Lamb might be a slightly better contested catch getter. You can debate that too. I mean, in my opinion, I've seen Nabers come down with some crazy ass catches. Is Lamb a better route runner than Malik Nabers? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what category you can give Lamb to definitively. While I think you can definitively give the yards after the catch explosive ability to Nabers. Like, he's got that Jamar Chase type like breakaway speed, right? Which Lamb just doesn't really have anymore. Lamb is more of a like alpha type wide receiver, like that AJ Green type wide receiver where he's going to go get up there and get it. He's a red zone threat, but I don't know if he has that yards after the catch ability. So in my opinion, that's just what I like in a wide receiver. So we're also talking about the quarterback situation. Now, Malik Nabers, most people would say, yeah, shit offensive situations, shit quarterback. But I actually disagree, dude. I think Russell Wilson, if he does anything well, it's throwing deep. And if Malik Nabers, who was open deep quite a lot last season and just would not get the ball from Daniel Jones, that's some opportunity there for Malik Nabers. And then we have the transition into Jackson Dart, right? He gets to sit behind Russ and Jameis, who are like the perfect quarterbacks to sit behind if you want to learn how to become a gunslinger, right? So I love that, dude. I think Tyron Tracy and Skatibo are not like household names where they're going to take away production from him like a Saquon does from AJ Brown. And I think there's just massive volume and opportunity for him. So that's why I have him as my third guy on this list. And then we have CeeDee Lamb at the end. Now, CeeDee Lamb also hits on 3 out of 4. He's got talent. He's got the quarterback situation for now, right? Dak, I know he's coming off an injury, but he's still really good. He's a very, very competent quarterback. And opportunity is still there. He's still going to get massive target share for sure. Maybe slightly capped ceiling because of the addition of George Pickens. But they don't have a run game, right? The run game in Dallas is shit. They're just going to be a passing team yet again. Like, I imagine them being in the top 5 in pass attempts yet again. And his age is the one thing that I think you can take a point away. Now, I'm not saying he's old. It's just that he's older than these other 3 guys, right? So that's why I give him 3 out of 4. I don't give him the full 4 out of 4 like Chase gets. And that's the list, dude. That's the comparison between the 4 players. I have Jamar Chase, I have Justin Jefferson, I have Malik Nabers, and then I have CeeDee Lamb. Now, what does this mean for you? If you can parlay CeeDee Lamb into a Nabers, and maybe you have to give up some, or maybe it's a part of a package, I still think that the consensus, like the perception, is that CeeDee Lamb's a better prospect. And if you can get CeeDee Lamb and then plus some in return, I would really consider doing that, especially if the guy's like a Dallas fan. But yeah, man, that's the list. Let me know what you guys think. This wasn't the most hard-hitting analysis, obviously, because this, these are the 4 best wide receivers. As I mentioned, you're kind of splitting hairs, but yeah, I guess the takeaway from this video is that I have Nabers over Lamb. That's the summary of the video. And hope you guys like it, man. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as I mentioned, hit me up with a like. Hit up that Patreon, man. Join that Patreon. Join the Discord and send me your trades. Send me a screenshot of your trades, and I'll review them this week. I already got one dude to send me one. Really trying to get that thing going. As I mentioned, it's an empty Discord, dude. I apologize for that, but trying to get it going, you got to start from somewhere. So get in there, dude. Introduce yourself. We'll banter about fantasy. We'll talk sports, dude. We'll talk strategy. And yeah, that's it for the video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.